In this video, we're going to review our 4-day weekend in Key West and let you know about some of the things to do while on island. Bottom line up front, we loved Key West. It was the perfect April getaway and gave us some much needed relief from the cold, rainy springtime that we get back home on Cape Cod. Now, if you're traveling from out of state, then there are two ways to get there. You can fly direct into Key West, or you can fly into Miami and drive the overseas highway across the Keys, which is about a 3.5-hour ride. We saved some money on tickets by flying into Miami and driving the rest of the way. We stopped only once, about halfway in Isla Morada, for lunch at the Isla Morada Shrimp Shack. This turned out to be a great place to stop, stretch out our legs, and grab a bite to eat. We ended up getting some shrimp fritters and this panko-encrusted mahi sautéed in key lime butter and Parmesan. It was delicious. And then after that, all filled up on local seafood, we drove the rest of the way to our resort. We stayed at Ocean's Edge Resort and Marina, located on Stock Island, which is right next to Key West. The resort gets great reviews and lived up to all the acclaim during our stay. While Key West is lively and crowded, Ocean's Edge is relaxed, chill, and a great place to hang out and recharge first thing in the morning or in the afternoon before heading back into town. The resort runs a shuttle every hour to and from Old Town Key West, so you won't have to deal with parking or driving into town. And believe me, you don't want to be driving after a night in Key West. The rooms are simple and spacious, with a balcony to enjoy a view of the ocean and the marina. The bathroom features a huge glassed shower that can easily fit two, if that's something you're interested in. Not all rooms include a living room, but because we booked with American Express Platinum Card, we got a complimentary upgrade, and that was nice to have the extra space. It ended up collecting our bags and dirty laundry mostly. The restaurant at Ocean's Edge is called Yellowfin Bar and Kitchen, and it's a casual place to grab a specialty coffee or breakfast in the morning or dinner in the evening with live entertainment most nights of the week. Amy and I only ate breakfast here and sat outside where the resident feral chickens were happy to clean up any crumbs. Don't worry, they don't bother you, but they will hop up on the tables if left unattended. In case you haven't heard, Key West has a pretty healthy population of wild chickens. You'll see them everywhere. Now, Ocean's Edge has plenty of activities for those periods when you don't want to play in Old Town or have anything major booked. They have kayak, paddleboard, and bike rentals that are included with your stay, yoga classes, and golf cart and scooter rentals. You can also get a nice morning walk along the marina with about a mile of dock space to walk and enjoy your coffee. The Tiki Hut is where you can sign up for these activities, as well as take in some of that famous golden light at sunset. The next day, we went on a jet ski tour by Key West Boat and Jet Ski Adventures. The outfitter is located only a few minutes from the resort, so it was super easy to access. The tour was basically a circumnavigation of Key West and included a swim break at a sandbar. The water was pretty smooth to start, but got rough at some points, and if it's your first time on a jet ski, then it can be a bit hairy. If you don't keep up, you could find yourself separated from the group pretty quickly. And I'm sure eventually the guide will come back and find you, but in general, you need to be prepared to go fast and beat the hell out of these things. While it was fun, it was a novelty, I'm not sure I'd do it again. And if you have two people, you can save some cash by renting only one jet ski and doubling up. The skis are perfectly comfortable for two adults, and there's plenty of opportunity to stop and switch drivers, so everyone has some time handling the machines. After that, it was time to head into town. One of the reasons for heading to Key West was to do the final test run on my Key West audio tour prior to publishing. The tour starts in Mallory Square and hits all the major landmarks on the island on the way to southernmost point. After hitting the start button, we made a quick stop at the Shipwreckers Statue and Memorial. The business of shipwrecking, which was really ship salvaging, is what put Key West on the map in the first place, and the first permanent settlers on the island were in the business of saving the crew and cargo of merchant ships that ran aground on the Great Florida Reef just a few miles offshore. We only walked a few more feet before we came to one of the Key's most famous delicacies, conch fritters. That's a conch. It's a type of snail. Looks delicious, doesn't it? Yeah, sometimes it's best not to know how the sausage gets made, or in this case, how the fritter gets made. You won't have to see this, only the end product, which is battered and fried along with spices and onion, pepper, celery, and garlic. They are, actually, pretty damn good, and you'll want to be sure to try them while on island. Before long, we were at Captain Tony's Saloon, where this guy was playing street golf by trying to throw a coin into the fish's mouth. It was entertaining, but we could have been there a minute while he tried to score, so we went inside. Captain Tony's is a Key West landmark, the original location of Sloppy Joe's Bar and where Ernest Hemingway came to drink. In the past, it's also been used as a morgue, and bodies have been found buried under the floorboards during renovations. Oh, and it has a hanging tree growing in the middle of the bar that extends through the roof. People were actually hanged here. All that hangs now are bras. I don't really know the story behind that. But needless to say, it's unique, and the Pirate's Punch is pretty tasty. You should have one. Just one. Next door is Sloppy Joe's. It's a location that every visitor needs to tick off when in Key West. They have live entertainment from 11 a.m. onward. Back in the 1930s, the owner, Joe Russell, moved the bar here after the rent went up by $1 a week at the other location next door. He just grabbed a bunch of bar patrons one night and they picked up everything and threw it down here. Lots of specialty drinks on the menu here, but I had the Key West Hurricane, which made me feel pretty good. At the corner of Green and Elizabeth Streets, you have options. First is Kermit's Key Lime Shop that has amazing key lime pie, key lime cookies, and other key lime treats. We stopped there 3 times in 4 days. It's that good. Across the street is the Conch Republic with 9 different mojitos on the menu. Here you can also take a walk along the wharf and maybe catch a glimpse of some pretty good-sized barracuda, which tend to hang out near the docks.
We're trying.
We're about to run through the final test run.
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's not hard. I mean, it's fun. But we might not make it.
It's too much fun. It's too much fun. We haven't really gone very far yet. We keep stopping to drink. And
is this our third? It's only our third drink. No.
I don't know.
It's only our third drink.
Yeah, but this is strong. Anyway.
And we
pregame.
It's
2.2 miles, and we're not even at like probably more than a half mile yet.
Yeah. We got a little ways to go.
All right.
Did you know that Pan American Airways, the iconic brand of the golden age of jet travel, got its start here in Key West by delivering mail from Havana to Key West? Passenger service quickly followed, and the first ticket office for Pan Am is now a local brewery. We stopped in and got a flight of local beers. In case you haven't figured it out, there's a lot of places to eat and drink in Key West. Next up is the Little White House, located in the Truman Annex. Originally part of the Naval Station in Key West, this section of town has some beautiful real estate and landscaping, along with the vacation villa that President Harry Truman used when he visited Key West. In total, he made 11 trips to Key West during his presidency for a total of 179 days. The Little White House is now a museum with tours available daily. Not that it's a major attraction, but Mile Marker Zero is something of a photo op in Key West. This is the beginning of U.S. Route 1, the longest north-south road in the U.S., running from here all the way up to the Canadian border at Fort Kent, Maine. It's worth a selfie before moving on. Next on the list was Duval Street, the main commercial district in Key West. We weren't really planning on stopping at Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville, but nature called and Jimmy, God rest his soul, was there to accommodate. We figured we should probably buy something since we use the facilities, so Amy got the Last Mango in Paris margarita, and I got something else, I don't know. Looks like it had some lime in it though. And after that was it. We couldn't take any more. We still had several points of interest on the auto tour to test out, but it was getting late and things were getting a bit blurry. So we stopped in at Blue Heaven, a highly recommended restaurant that happened to be right around the corner. A burger really hit the spot for me. They've got a neat courtyard with an outdoor bar and live music, and of course, more wild chickens. These things really are everywhere. After dinner, we made our way back to Mallory Square for the nightly sunset celebration. Plenty of sunset cruises can be drifting along the shoreline, and folks start jockeying for a premium seat along the wharf. As the sun hangs low, street performers come out and entertain visitors with juggling, acrobatics, and other circus-like acts. This guy in the red pants was pretty fun to watch and did some cool acrobatics on the ladder. However, don't have any footage of it because right after this clip was shot, he asked Amy and I to come forward and hold his ladder steady, which may have been poor judgment on his part, but nobody got hurt, so all's well that ends well. After sunset, it was time to head back to the resort. We had a fairly early day ahead of us. The next day, we had booked an intro scuba experience. Although I've been certified as an open water diver in the past, it's been a while and Amy has never been. We booked with South Point divers, who turned out to be excellent. We spent about 45 minutes learning some basic skills in a local swimming pool, then broke until the afternoon, when we boarded the diving boat and went on 2 reef dives. I've only been diving in the Northeast, where you can barely see your hand in front of your face, so this was an incredible experience. The fish were colorful and plentiful. It was like being in a tropical aquarium. We even saw a small barracuda up close. The diving depth was 25 to 30 feet, with about 40 minutes on each tank, which for an introductory dive I thought was pretty good. I was expecting about 15 feet with not much bottom time. Our guide ratio was 2 to 1, meaning we had our own guide with us, but it could go higher than that. Overall, this was the highlight of our Key West vacation and totally recommended for anybody who wants to explore the underwater environment beyond a simple snorkeling excursion. Links to this trip are pinned in the comments section. That was it for the day. After the scuba adventure, we went back to Ocean's Edge, sat on the balcony, and grabbed a couple of beers from the fridge and listened to some live music from the pool deck below. It was an early night. The next morning, we're up early for some stand-up paddle yoga. Amy teaches this stuff back home on Cape Cod and wanted to take a class from someone else. We went with Lazy Dog Adventures on Stock Island, again, only a few minutes from our resort. We paddled out about 10 to 15 minutes and anchored in a protected cove to get some stretching and light exercise. We saw several nurse sharks and stingrays on the paddle. After yoga, it was a quick breakfast at the resort. Then we took advantage of the free paddleboard rentals for some more time on the water. There's Ocean's Edge from the water. We saw a few more nurse sharks as we paddled around. This resort really is beautiful, and I'd come back in a second. Wouldn't even shop around before booking. We could have spent a few more hours doing resort activities, but we had to get back onto the shuttle and into town to complete our audio tour test run. We left off on Duval Street and picked it up again at the San Carlos Institute, built as a gathering spot for Cuban expats and refugees after their war for independence from Spain. Admission is free, and you can learn all about Cuban heritage on Key West, including a 20-minute film. This place doesn't get a lot of love from visitors, but it's pretty interesting if you're into history. The Hemingway Home and Museum is next on the itinerary, and a pretty popular site, whether you're into literature or not. We stayed for the guided tour that runs every 30 minutes. Our tour guide, Dan, was funny and personable and gave us some insight that we otherwise would not have had if we had simply walked around the premises. Of course, some just come for the six-toed cats, almost all of whom are descended from Hemingway's original cat, Snow White. There are 59 of these cats lounging around the Hemingway property. They see a veterinarian once a week and have the run of the home and gardens. Many will stop and visit with you as you walk around. This is the Key West Lighthouse from the veranda of Hemingway's home. Hemingway said that he wanted to live by the lighthouse so that he could find his way home after a night of drinking in town. At least that's a legend. Many things have been misattributed to Hemingway, and maybe that's one of them. Southernmost Point is yet another place in Key West where a lot of selfies are taken. We didn't want to wait in line, so we took a pic from the other side of the buoy. From here, it's only a mere 90 miles to Cuba. Then it was out to sea again on the Appledore Star, a wooden schooner that's a representation of an 1890s Chesapeake Bay oyster dragger. That may not be important to you, but what you might be interested in is that the Appledore Star only books 22 guests for its evening cruises, making it pretty roomy up there. Some other boats seem packed from bow to stern, but we had plenty of room to sit and enjoy the scenery. Boat Captain Jared and First Mate Bradley were super nice and welcoming, and served a variety of drinks and hors d'oeuvres. We even saw a pod of dolphins calmly swimming alongside the boat. That kept everyone's interest for several minutes. As the sun dropped over the horizon, it was time to head back to shore. If you feel like booking a sunset cruise while in Key West, I can recommend Appledore pretty confidently. That was about it for our 4-night Key West vacation. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the comments. I'll leave my info and recommendations pinned below should you wish to check any of these activities out. Again, Key West is amazing. We both fell in love with the place and can't wait to return.